What's up, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of Casters of Horror. I'm Chris Mess.
I'm Shane, and this week we're counting down our top 5 picks of the year. Now, this is movies that we've watched for this show.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Theoretically, there could be a movie from, the 70s or something on here, right?
Yeah, there could. Doubt it.
I doubt it.
There could.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we watched The Shining. Is that on your top 5? We'll have to wait and see. This is movies that not necessarily that came out in 2030. What year is it? 2023.
23.
Yeah, but movies that we watched here on this show, 2023, and we brought you guys. So anyway, we're going to run down our top 5 and say, kind of have a little back and forth on it. And we'll see if your guys' lists line up with any of ours. So let's go ahead and get into it.
We have not shared our lists back and forth, so we have no idea what the others pick.
No, we're not into list swapping. So
right.
Anyway, let's start off. Number 5. This is the lowest rank of our top ranked ones on the list. I think a couple of these are going to surprise you, honestly, that you're going to be like, really? To me, and because I had some honorable mentions that I was like, oh man, I kind of want to fit those in there, but these are the ones that I think deserve to be on this list.
Yeah,
to me. So anyway, number 5. What do you got for number 5, sir?
Well, my number 5 is one that we both felt like was really, really underrated and really underpromoted, and that could have had something to do with the various strikes going on, this year, but just came out of nowhere. But at the time, we both loved it, and I think it's the only movie this year that I said was like creepy, just downright creepy.
Okay,
that is Cobweb.
Cobweb.
Yes,
nice, very nice. I liked that. I liked it.
I loved this movie. It was, it had that atmosphere of like where you really didn't know what was going on, and you didn't really know who to trust and who was, just part of this dark, demented whatever was going on. So
yeah, and it involves kids. Anytime that something creepy involves kids, you're just like,
really, really great too. Lizzie Kaplan in it.
Yep.
Anthony Starr basically playing a Homelander without superpowers. I mean, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
He's just got that sort of like evil persona about him.
Yeah. And the kid was good in it.
Oh, yeah. The
kid was really good in it.
Yeah, really great.
Good choice. Good choice. Number 5 for you. So number 5 for me, this one's going to be a little bit of a shock for you because the more that I thought about this film, the more it grew on me.
Really?
Believe it or not. Enough so that it made it into my top 5, and I think it deserves to be there. I thought the movie was good. I thought it was okay at first in my review, but now it made it all the way up to my number 5 spot. That movie is Talk to Me.
Really?
The Australian, made it to top 5 for me.
Well, the only thing that I'm shocked by is because I thought that you had a much higher opinion of it, like when we watched it. So to hear you say that at first it was just good. Okay.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I thought it was a good film. I thought it was original and all this, but for me, it was one of those ones that bumped things out of the top 5 for me.
Okay.
So this one, I was not expecting to put into my top 5 list. Ended up jumping up into there. So,
well, and it's kind of one of those things where we've discussed before, like at least for us with A24, it really seems to be like hit or miss. I don't know that I've seen an A24 film that I was just like, it's fine. I've either loved it or hated it. So
exactly.
Good choice.
Well, let's move on to number 4.
All right.
Quattro. What do you have for number 4, sir?
Took a bit of a lighter turn with this one, Chris.
Yeah?
Yeah, for a movie that kind of plays as a sequel to a 100-year-old film. Right? Come on, man. It's the role that Nick Cage was born for. My number 4 is
Ah,
Renfield. I
Renfield.
loved this movie.
Really?
And and this one, it would not surprise me if this is the one that is like the most controversial on my list.
Yeah.
Because this one kind of split the horror fandom down the middle.
Like I liked it,
Yeah.
but it didn't even I don't even know if that one would come into my top 10.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's something I guess I should have said like up front is I was looking through my list because I ranked all these movies and I'm like, the 25th movie on my list was great. So, I mean, this was a stellar year for horror, man.
Yeah, it
You
was.
know?
Yeah, it
So,
was.
and I just think, like, for me, I don't know, Renfield was one of the several comedies we watched this year that I loved.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think out of all of them, I just have to give it to this one. Just, it was really funny. Nicholas Holt, great.
It was.
Nicolas Cage, just, man, that
Killed
dude,
it.
that dude, I think can play anything, and it's one of those where I'm really glad that he is taking on these sort of like bonkers roles, because if he weren't doing that with his career, that we would have really missed out this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm glad he found his stride. Now he's
yeah,
looking at retiring.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, right in the feels, man.
yeah, yeah. But
Going,
I mean,
going to TV.
if this is how he wants to go out by just taking on a bunch of crazy projects, then I say more power to him.
Yeah. 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 Go for it. Go for
Yep.
it. Well, my number 4 was one that you and I both enjoyed. We both loved this movie, especially the once again going for kid actors because I dig them. I think when they can pull off a movie and really make you interested in the film, I just think it's talent. Kudos to them. This movie was and still is The Black Phone. Number
Yeah.
4 for me.
Okay.
I don't know. It's one of those movies that's just stuck with me that I knew was going to be on my top 5 no matter what.
Yeah.
From the moment that we watched it, and it was just a solid film from start to finish. And
Yeah,
so
it was.
I really dug it. I dug this
Yeah.
one.
That's one of those where like there was so much going on. There's so much to it. So many like little hints and clues.
Yep.
In the background, you know.
Yep.
This is what I'm talking about, man. I loved that movie,
Yep.
and it didn't crack my
Didn't.
top 10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Ethan Hawke did great in it,
Oh,
and now we're looking at a sequel
yes,
happening.
a
So
completely unnecessary sequel that I don't know what they'll do with it, but
I'm still interested. I'm
oh
still,
yeah, I would probably still watch
and
it.
they said they wouldn't make it unless the story blew them out of the water. And I forgot who came to them with the story, but it was well worth it. So
Really,
I'm excited about it. But
yeah.
anyway, yeah, that was my number 4. Number 3. This one's pivotal because it's right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
So,
Pivotal.
what was your number 3 for this year?
My number 3 is one that I really liked when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, this is going to be a good one. I feel like this is going to be a good one. And it did not disappoint me. It's our first crossover, Chris. My number 3 pick is Talk to Me.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Okay.
loved that
I was
movie.
wondering if it was going to be on your list anywhere, and
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, it was the more that I started thinking about it, the more it grew on me,
Mhm.
and I just thought that the original concept of it was just really, really good.
Yeah.
And
You know, one of the things that, and I think you might have mentioned this back when we originally reviewed it, it that sometimes like I appreciate a movie where I don't know any of the actors in it, just because
Mhm.
then I'm not like, you know, well, like with my last pick. Oh, Nicolas Cage, great!
Yeah.
It wasn't Dracula; it was Nicolas Cage as Dracula.
Yeah.
So with a movie like this one, I personally don't know any of the actors, and I know this.
Yeah.
I think this was is it Australian film?
Australian. Yeah.
Yeah, and
South
I think it was
Australia.
technically a 2022 release, but for us here in the States, it was a 23 release.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and yeah, so just I appreciate that, not really knowing into the actors, because I think that allows me to really just really dig into the story. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
No, I agree.
talk to me. I loved it.
Good
An
pick.
absolute win from A24 for me.
Well, I was hoping that my number 3 would be higher on the list.
Oh,
This
okay.
is one that I was really, really hoping would have been higher on my list,
Mhm.
but it didn't make it to the number 1 spot or even the number 2 spot, because I think that there was two that deserved it even more.
Okay.
But I love this franchise. This is my franchise, sir. And I have to go with Evil Dead Rise for number
Okay.
3.
Your number 3, Evil Dead Rise. Okay.
Evil Dead Rise. Yes, it was just, it felt like, it just felt like you were back again.
Yeah.
Like the whole franchise was just back, and that's
Uh-huh.
what I loved about it. They took it out of the woods and moved it into the city, and the
Which
cast was great in
I
it.
think was a great choice, a great
Oh
story
yeah,
choice, because we've
absolutely.
seen that in the Woods story so many times
Yeah,
already.
and
So,
trapped in one building.
yeah.
That where it wasn't like they're running all over and all this sort of stuff. It was like claustrophobia,
Yep. I was just getting ready to say that.
but in a large structure, and it was just,
Yeah.
it was so well done. It was really, really good, and that title shot.
Mm.
I mean,
Title card.
that alone could win this for me. But
Oh man, I mean,
and the
you
end
remember?
shot, and the
The
end
what?
shot too.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah,
ending,
yeah.
it's just,
I
I
mean,
don't
you
know.
remember when that movie came out? I wouldn't shut up about the title card
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm just like, this is the coolest title card I've ever seen.
And see, this was another one that I had lower on my list,
Yeah,
but watching it again and coming back into it, and it just has those feels for me. So I was like, yeah, I gotta go Evil Dead Rise number 3.
I will admit I am surprised because I knew that you liked it. I didn't think it would be on your top 5 at all, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it's just one of those ones that I keep coming back to.
Yeah,
So, and I've got that, to me, is it makes a good horror film. It's one that
oh
you
yeah,
come back to.
yeah.
So yeah, number 3, Evil Dead Rise for me. So
Cool,
number
good pick.
2, we got number 2
Number
next.
2.
Number 2, usually reserved for the one that is the worst or the crappiest. No, number 2. This film was number 2. What was your number 2? See, now I have no clue where you're going. You're going
Really?
rogue now.
Oh yeah, I have no.
I
See.
wouldn't
I would not have guessed
I wouldn't be
yours.
surprised if you're like number 1, bodies, bodies, bodies at this point. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see. So what was your number 2?
My number 2 is a film that is part of a franchise
Okay.
and seems to go in one of two different directions. The direction this one went is the direction that I personally prefer. Dude, my number 2 is Evil Dead Rise.
Right on.
There it is.
Right on. So we got another crossover
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, man, I love this
That's
one.
just
And
solid.
obviously, like, I understand why everybody loves the camp. You
Yeah.
know, that some of the early movies, and
Yep.
that's great. And I think it's just as viable a part of the franchise. For me
Yep.
personally, I do love this one and the remake. See, the reboot is one that has grown on me because,
Yeah.
like I told you, I wasn't a huge fan of it at first.
Yeah.
I like it now more. I like it more now than I did before, but for
Yeah.
me, Evil Dead Rise is just, I loved this film. I had so much fun with this film.
And see, I liked the remake better than the originals. And I'm going to get a lot of crap for that, but I
I'm
did.
sure you.
It was just darker.
Mhm.
It was just more, to me, just not insane, but it was just more straightforward, just horror.
Yeah.
Where, Evil Dead 2, I mean, Evil Dead, the original one, tried to make it more serious, but
Mhm.
the second one took it off the rails, and then of course, Army of Darkness,
Yeah.
way out there. But Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
I,
year for horror, man.
the thing is, I'm with
We
you.
got
I
some of
actually
our,
think that the remake and this one are my favorite two films, and so
yeah.
bring on the hate right there along with you, because
Yep.
this is just how I prefer the franchise. So
Yep. Oh, I
I like
agree.
it.
I
Yeah.
agree. My number two, once again, another crossover.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. This one I thought was going
Wow.
to take number one, but and it's one that I've told everybody about all the time. But yeah, my number two is Cobweb. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That one for me just was like, this is going to be in every Halloween
Hmm.
horror
Yeah.
movie. I just it's one that stuck with me, and anytime someone's like, "What's a good horror movie that came out this year?" and I'm like, "Cobweb."
Yeah.
Got to watch
Yeah.
Cobweb. They're like, "I haven't even heard of it." And I'm like, "You need
Yeah.
to watch it.
That's the problem.
You got to
Yeah.
watch it. It's so good." They're like, "Well, I'm not into like super gory, freaky." And I'm like, "It's
Oh,
not.
no.
It's just
Yeah.
great."
It's creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not. I think it's a good foot in the door horror film
Yeah.
for
It
anybody
is.
if
Yeah.
they're even just trying to come into horror. I think it's a good starting place. But
This is
yeah,
probably the only one that I'd say I was fairly confident would be on your list.
yeah,
I wasn't sure about any of the others. I had some ideas of what you might pick, but I wasn't really sure. I am
yeah,
surprised you had three crossovers on the list, but
yeah, yeah.
Cobweb's a
So was
great one,
I.
man. Yeah.
So was I. Well, we're down to the last ones. So
This
this
is
ought to
it.
be interesting. But before
Yeah.
we start that and before we get into it, make sure you guys put down in the comments what you guys think that our number one pick is going to be. Do it now.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't
Don't wait.
hesitate.
Yeah. Don't
Make
cheat.
sure.
Don't
Yeah,
don't
don't cheat.
cheat and wait for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But
And while you're down there, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe. You'll get another opportunity, but don't waste it.
yeah.
So
Maybe drop
anyway,
your top five down there.
yeah, put your top five down. We want to know what you guys have been watching.
Yeah.
So put that down there, and we'll see where they line up, and then we may go, "Oh, I forgot about that one." And so, but anyway, we are down to the last one.
That's it. Number
Again,
one horror movie.
these are films we watched this year.
Uh-huh.
We saw. So could be from any year. We'll see what our number one is. For Shane,
All right.
drum roll. I might actually put a real drum in there. Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm too
Yeah.
lazy. Number one.
My number one is one that caught me off guard,
Okay.
but only because when I started watching it, I didn't realize who it was from. Had I known, I might have been more prepared.
Okay.
It is an extremely dark and disturbing film that goes places I was not expecting. I absolutely loved it. It
Give
is
me the blue
from,
blood and honey.
yeah, right. This is from Argentinian director Damien Rugna. My number one film is When Evil Lurks.
See, I knew I needed to watch that one before this, and I have not
Yes.
had the time. Ah.
And when I say it's my number one, it is far and away my number one film. If you've been on YouTube at all and you're a horror hound like us, you might have seen multiple people reviewing this. And there's a reason, in my opinion, that it has gotten all the acclaim that it has. It is it is without a doubt my favorite film of the year. And see, that's the other thing. I didn't do this intentionally, but all five of my films were 2023 releases. So you can consider this a top five horror films of 2023 for me. When Evil Lurks is one of those. You talk about a film sticking with you. This is one that will stick with me for a long time because it is. It's all I can say is wow.
See, I knew I needed to watch it,
Yeah.
and I literally I have not had time.
Yeah.
I've had zero time lately to do anything besides the one movie that we get to watch for the show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if
And this
you guys want to
was
see the
one.
rest of my house, geez,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
in
And I guess
disarray. But
for the context, in case anybody didn't see, this is one of the films, now and then one of us has to do a solo review. This is the
yeah,
one that I did solo review of.
yeah,
Um, Absolutely phenomenal film. I loved it. It's getting to the point because I had also seen this guy's previous work, Terrified, and that's why I said if I had known going into it that it was the same writer and director, I would have been prepared for it. But I'm
nice.
kind of glad that I didn't because this was a shocking surprise to me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Wow.
When Evil
Wow.
Lurks, absolutely my favorite film of the year, and absolutely one of the most disturbing I've seen. So that's it. My number one.
Well, at least I have something to look forward to now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say because now I get to watch it and see and come on and agree on the show. Be like, oh, that was a good movie, and may have to change up my list a little bit, but at
Yeah.
least our number ones will not be the same.
All right.
We can
There's
at
that.
least say that. There is that. My number one for this year is not only number one uh, on my horror list, but it actually is one of my top favorite movies of all time.
Nice.
And I thought it was beautifully done, beautifully directed. Cinematography was incredible on it. Acting was absolutely brilliant. Also a 2023 film. So all mine were 2023 as well.
Okay. It's not what I thought it was going to be then.
Um,
Hmm.
because we had to go with stuff that we watched this year. We watched this one way back in January or February. Back in February, I want to say. As me being a culinary aficionado as much as I am, The Menu was my number one
Okay.
for this year.
Okay. I thought this was a 2022 film.
It was 2023. Came out
Really?
in
Was it?
2023. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That
Yeah.
is honestly what I thought you would pick. But then when you said,
Oh no, it wasn't 2022.
oh, okay.
But we watched it in 2023. It came out right at the end of 2022.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So no, came out right at the end of 2022, but we watched it in 2023.
Okay.
But yeah, The Menu. It was one that I was highly anticipating, and to me, it was just so beautifully done.
Oh,
I was just like,
brilliant.
I was like, oh, I love this movie. One of the only ones too that I've watched several times over. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
same.
well, it was so well acted, so well
Just
done.
barely didn't make it, Chris. This is sitting in number 6 on my list.
That was your honorable mention. That was
my honorable mention. Yeah.
My honorable mention, I would have to say, went to Totally Killer. Believe
Great
it or
movie.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, dude, The Menu. I loved the little visual flourishes in that movie.
Yep.
Just one of the little things, like when they do each of the courses and they put the name of the course up there and what it is. I thought that was a brilliant touch for the film.
And not only how what they say at the bottom, but what is plated in the dish plays off the kill or whatever's happening next.
Yeah.
And it's represented in the food. I'm just like, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful film.
Yeah. Really great film.
But anyway, let us know what you guys think. What was your top films of 2023? What did you watch this year that shook your horror balls off? Let us know. Put it down in the comments down below, and make sure while you're there, hit like and subscribe. Ding ding. Yeah, right over Shane's face. as
Ding.
usual. Dang. But yeah, it was a good year for horror. I'm
Very
hoping
good year.
2024 is if as good, if not better. So
It
we
looks like
will.
it's shaping up that it could be
Well,
another good
good,
year.
good.
Yep.
But we'll be back next year
Indeed.
and week with another film that we're gonna be checking out. So stay tuned. Make sure you guys follow along and follow us on Instagram and the tweeters and or X and we're on Threads
Yes, we are.
and we're all over the place. But anyway, make sure you guys follow along. That way you guys can keep up with everything we're doing. And we'll see what 2024 holds. So, do we sing the song? We're like, well, no acquaintance be forgot. Get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys.
See ya.